Hello and welcome to the show. We are here today on BeamNG Drive with some more vehicles being driven until they fall apart and can no longer keep going around the Proving Ground circuit. We start with an Evo. This is an Evo IX. I'm sorry, Evo fans, but it's going to get destroyed around this circuit. It could do fairly well. I think one of the... Oh, I pressed the wrong button. Damn it. I think one of the early series in Evo, I can't remember what Evo mod it was, there's been a few for Beam over the years. But yeah, one Evo did very, very well. I think it led. I think it won, possibly. It certainly did really well, regardless. This, I think, is a little bit of an old mod. However, I gave it a quick test, and all the damage functions are there and everything. It still works, so why not have a go with it? We have got, this is the MR spec of car, kind of a mid-range version. While it's all-wheel drive and has better ground clearance than a sports car, well, I guess real high-end sports cars. This isn't a rally spec. This isn't a rally car per se, but all-wheel drive is good. A little bit more ground clearance is good. It does seem like it's quite stiffly sprung, however. When we're hitting these bumps, it's bouncing. It's not sort of like the soft wallowy bounce you get from the off-roaders. It's more of a, we've run out of suspension travel, and it's just going to, the energy has to go somewhere, so it just pings the car into the air. Oh, the Toblerones have rolled the Evo. Is it going to land back down on its wheels? It is! The Toblerones haven't really done much to vehicles for a while. It's the first roll. Well, say first roll. I'm not sure what they have played their part in some cars' destruction. They haven't for a little while, but yeah, the Evo not quite knowing how to deal with that section. It is pretty quick, so we aren't going to be flat out down here. We're going to have to have a little bit of a lift to try and get the car under control. Doesn't really like the dirt there. A little bit uncomfortable. Ooh. That's not so helpful. We have lost drive to the rear. So we are a front-wheel drive Evo. Yeah. That's sure, that can't go wrong. It's not like all the damage is done to the, or majority of the damage is done to the front of the car. I'm surprised to see that snap. I mean, sure, the shafted jump is, funnily enough, notorious for that sort of destruction, but it's normally the big muscle cars that we see have issues with that, not the all-wheel drive, more modern sports cars. Muscle cars generally go because the chassis gets bent, and then it gets to the point where the engine's pointing at a funny angle and the drive shaft can't. The drive shaft just snaps. I don't often see it with these sort of cars, or as much, not as early on anyway. The radiator has gone, so we are on borrowed time in terms of it's going to overheat. Turbo engine, quite high-powered turbo engines do tend to overheat quite quickly, but we do have the shallow grave, that water, that will help keep it alive. Oh, I thought I was going to muller the post. I had two choices in there. We either had to kind of panic and try and steer away from the post, but we were going to land on the front right wheel heavily, which we did. However, that's a much better option than hitting the post. The post at those sort of speeds is going to kill a car, or certainly severely damage it, although my steering is unhappy with the outcome of that. Oh, okay, we went over the bumps there and the car just went straight. Here we go. Water, I need some cooling now. Cool the Evo. You have actually done quite a good job of cooling the Evo. I'm pleased with that. Thank you, water. Checkerboard. I'm really worried about that front wheel now. Not only for the purposes of steering, but also drive. We are a front-wheel drive car, and I fear if we lose a wheel, that'll just stop all drive. I don't think it's going to let us be one-wheel drive. Oh, I have a feeling my steering might have gone. No, it is still connected. Please don't. Now it is connected, but it's just snapped and it is now stuck. Full lock left. Oh god, this is a problem. We got through the spinners, however, the wheel is stuck. I can't straighten it. I thought it was still connected, but maybe it wasn't. It got a help through the spinners, or by the spinners. What doesn't help is that wheel doesn't have much steering left in it anyway. Can we stay on the circuit? No, I think we're just going to end up falling further and further away from the track here. Oh, okay, there we go. I mean, this is very, very loose on the old definition of have functioning steering, but we were a little bit off the track, but nothing ridiculous. We are going to fail at a corner. There will be a corner where this is going to nose into the wall and we're not going to be able to get it out. But for now, it carries on. Yeah, you can just turn right, just a little bit. Come Come on, Evo. We can make this. Oh no, we can't! I take that back. We've lost both. We lost all steering. Nothing's connected. Nothing works. It made a little further. You know, we got battered by the spinners. We got it going. However, yeah, the front just couldn't take that level of punishment around here. And that is the end of the Evo. Up next, we have got a Miramar. This is a Miramar Custom, so it's a little bit more powerful. I think it's a little bit more sporty than a normal one. Sporty might not be good for survival. I should point this out, of course. Stiffer suspension, not always good, although it does have leaf springs at the back. Normally survive quite well. Let's fire it up and have a go. Oh yeah, of course, I forgot I have everything turned down massively because the Evo is the loudest car on this game. It's so loud. So as I said, all the volumes of my speakers down. Anyway, yes, the Miramar has gone very well in previous series. However, the couple of Miramars that have gone around this circuit have not done so well. They've been okay, but I think the chassis bending nature of this circuit has got them into trouble, basically. I think the drive shaft that's gone on them. The radiator just tends to be quite well protected in this car. Oh, we don't want to go sliding across the checkerboard. That is asking for trouble. Whoop! Oh dear! It's a little bit more powerful. Rear-wheel drive doesn't have particularly large amounts of grip, so it is easy to excite the car into some oversteer. That is going to probably happen a few times with this, especially if it has some damage to wheels. We start having wheels at funny angles. Toblerone's quite nicely done. Oh, didn't spin. It is also, again, another small, fairly grippy car. We shouldn't have issues with the spinners, certainly not unless we get damage. The Evo would get through fine, but when you start losing the steering, you're going to have problems with the vehicle. Now, we should have more than enough speed up here. It's not going to be crazy quick. It's not going to be like a drag car speed, but we will be good up here to get a nice landing, hopefully. A little bit nose down. And that's what bends the chassis. We get this bananaing of the chassis. That's what often causes the drive shaft to give up. We'll see. Maybe this sort of custom Miramar has a stronger frame, if you like. We can hope. We can hope that it's got a bit of a reinforced frame to try and keep that drive shaft alive. I have very big concerns about the front left. I'm pretty sure all suspension is gone on the front left corner. That's not good. The boot is stuck open. Is that like a tray in the back of the car? Why would a tray in the back of the vehicle? I don't know. Has the front left lost everything? Or maybe it's not. It looked like it had. It looked like it was running really low around that corner. Maybe it's just... both sides seem quite low. It doesn't seem like there's much suspension travel for the front wheels, which is alarming, if I'm honest with you. Uh-oh. Ugh. We're fine. Yeah, that is kind of alarming. It means that whenever we hit the ground, it's going to be the nose of the car that's taking the brunt of the impact. We are across the speed bumps without anything catching. My steering is knackered. Well, okay. The steering is damaged. Knackered is what the Evo was. This is pulling. It seems to be pulling inconsistently, which is never fun to deal with. No, okay. Maybe one of the crashes resetted almost. Through the shallow grave we go. Ooh, we have a problem. Oh, okay, so I think we only have, I don't even know if we have one working corner for suspension, but the car is now so low that it's catching on the checkerboard. And this can be an undoing of sports cars. We've seen it before. Well, I say sports cars, but lower vehicles. Sports cars, the main sort of problems, if you will, that, well, the checkerboards are quite nasty, and there's no way of getting across them without something scraping. Oh, big problems with my front left. That's not healthy. It's not held on. My guess looking at it is that either the top or the bottom suspension, probably top arm, is gone. So it's not really fully connected anymore in that corner properly. It's still steering for now. Oh, it doesn't matter. It's all academic anyway. There goes. Kind of expected. I don't think that car was actually long for this world anyway. I think if that had landed that jump, I definitely think it would have died at checkerboard. I think it would have hit that and torn the drive shaft off. it might not be quite as low as I thought it was, but definitely the suspension was dying. The steering was going. We do still have steering, but it's actually we don't have steering. I don't know whether that would have actually worked anyway. I think that wheel's too buckled. That's kind of a twofer, really. Drive shaft and steering all in one crash. And the Miramar's terrible lack of luck continues around this circuit. And finally, we have got a hopper. Now, we have run one of these. I think we ran an off-road hopper around this circuit a while back. It fell over and the oil all drained out the engine and it locked up, which was apparently something that can happen with these. This is a more road... I mean, it's still an off-road vehicle, but this is a more road spec version. So we've got a turbocharged 6-cylinder engine, I think. But yeah, so this is kind of a little bit more of a road-going version of the hopper. We've not quite got the same ground clearance, we've not quite got the same off-road tyres and everything, which is good in some ways in that it'll stop it from toppling over, but it does still have some ground clearance, you know, it's still all-wheel drive. We've still got some form of locking diffs, I think, and yeah, it's got a lot more ground clearance, it's got suspension designed to deal with bumps a lot more than a normal car. So this could, in theory, be very, very good around this circuit. I say in theory because sometimes these vehicles do go very well. Other times the off-roaders have more trouble than a normal car. We'll have to wait and see. I feel like this stands a good chance of bridging the full extreme off-roaders with their really high ride height often roll a lot. They roll, they fall over, wheels get snapped. I mean, we've fallen over, so I think this might still suffer from a similar thing. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I'll have to wait and see. Steering is good. The hopper, I think the hopper is one of those vehicles that has a steering rack that can get twisted, or is more liable to getting twisted. The Satsuma is the worst vehicle for the twisted steering rack, but I think the hopper can. That might be something that's that we need to look out for around this course. Please don't twist in the air. I don't want to have to deal with you twisting in the air. That's fine. Ooh. Okay, quite nicely done on the landing there. We kind of crashed down. It sounds awful, but the suspension dealt with that impact pretty perfectly. To be honest, if we can do that every lap, we'll be okay. I suspect after a while it'll give up. We have seen we've got both the doors pinged out from the roll. Okay, oh, don't go to the fence. Oh, so one of the things with this circuit and with the fence and so on that I'm a little dubious about, so you can see it with the Jeep and anything, especially anything with the wheels that stick out a little bit more. But if we're full lock, let's say we're full left, trying to avoid the fence, if we end up that we can't avoid the fence and we kind of hit it with the front corner, I'm always worried my wheel is going to like crash weld itself into the barrier, like the tyre might crash weld into the barrier. So there's kind of like this moment where if I'm heading towards the barrier, I almost want to straighten the steering up, even though I know I can't avoid, even though I know I'm going to hit the wall, I kind of rather hit the wall head on rather than hit it with the wheel at full lock, because that either gets stuck in the barrier or can actually snap the wheel off or break the steering. Oh, that's not what we needed, hopper. I don't want to touch the wheels, don't want to touch the steering, sorry, while it's tumbling down the road like that. It's fine. Does something look wrong in the rear left to you? No, maybe not. It's okay. It's gone for a couple of oh, I don't know about that rear left corner anymore. It seems mighty hopping at the moment. Do we reckon that that's busted? No, maybe not. No, it just acted weird over one section. Okay, I mean, considering we've had two rolls, and they're not been small ones either, they've been multiple rolls involved in the crash. It's actually not in bad shape. The steering is pretty good. Nothing's buckled up there. No radiator damage. Minor bodywork damage, but there's nothing to really worry about. We're through the spinners, no problem. Sometimes I think so. Beam has quite a detailed kind of air physics, and I think possibly if we get a vehicle smacked up by the spinners, for example, they can actually have trouble with flying wonky across the jumps because the way the car carves through the air becomes really bad. Oh, we've lost a rear wheel. Well, a rear wheel, we've lost a spare wheel. I actually have concerns about the front right suspension now. Do we reckon that It's clipping into the wheel arch a bit. It might have done a smidge beforehand. I'm not sure. Who knows? But we are past where the other vehicles got to in this episode, so it's not doing too badly, this one. We're going to have a little bit of a slide, kind of a lazy slide, really, from the hopper. Clonk across there. There's no real... Yeah, I mean, we're going to lose a wheel. The spare wheel is probably the one that you want to fall off the back. I'm surprised the back... Oh, that's not good. Something was bent in the front before we came off there. It's still got full steering. It's still got plenty of lock. It is twisted now. It looks like the whole body is twisted, or is that just the front suspension? I suspect maybe the front... yeah, we're starting to get suspension grief. Oh dear. It's quite... Don't hit the pillar. Oh, the rear axle shifted? The rear axle, I think, has shifted to the right. That's alarming on a Jeep. I've seen that with the muscle cars. We've seen it with... It is the Moonhawk-based muscle cars and the Regency. The Regency's sadly around this circuit blow their radiators up, or the radiator goes and they overheat within a lap. So we haven't actually seen that, but we have seen the Moonhawk they've had the axles shift. I just haven't seen it happen with an SUV before. That's something to be very, very concerned about. So big concerns rear axle, other massive concerns front suspension. It's gone. We don't have any. I mean, car control isn't great. It turns a long way to the right on its own, but thankfully it has got very, very good steering lock, so we've still got more than enough to counteract it. Oh, I'm not going to fall over at the Toblerones again. This has just been a roly-tumbly expression session for the Jeep. Oh, over we go. Now we don't want to have the oil calamity that went on last time occur, ideally. Not that I quite know what happened with that. Oh! Okay. I missed my braking. I couldn't slow it down. Thankfully, we didn't. We managed to get it stopped just in time. That the only thing it is kind of peel the bonnet off. Now I'm allowed to grab reverse. Again, the rules of the car. You know, if I have to grab reverse to get around a corner, the car's counted out for steering failure. But that's only if the car's had, you know, a fair shot at the corner. If I outbrake into a corner and have to grab reverse, or I spin and so on, then that's fair game. And that was an outbraked into the spinners. We did get it stopped though. Please tell me that was the spare wheel we ran over. It was. Much like there, for example. That's fair to grab reverse. You don't expect the vehicle to be able to steer out of that. There are big concerns with that front right. It's still holding on. I feel like one big hit on that and we're going to lose the wheel. Or the whole, like, it's going to be, like, pushed all the way up and then the car's going to be more lopsided than it already is. Oh, I think I actually have done that push all the way up. He's very, very lopsided now. Yeah, okay, so we're like kind of tripoding around the corner. Well, the steering problems get worse, and we'll probably find the axle shifted back. I think the axle might have shifted back again. No, the axle might be back in the centre of the car, and it might just be like floating loosely in there. Hold it. We're off towards the wall. Now, can we get you over, please, Jeep? Whoop. There we go. The hopper is back upright again. We've got some debris falling off of it. Yeah, this is the curse of the off-roaders. They do spring around a lot more. Or they can spring around a lot more on landing, especially when they have knackered suspension. Oh, for God's sake. Oh. It's still going. It's going to have a very big crash doing that at some point. I think the axle might have shifted back again to the right-hand side of the car. Oh, might have just been as bits have fallen off the bodywork. It's now looks like it's closer in place. No, I don't know. It's definitely not right. There's definitely lots wrong with this. It's still going though, and that's the thing. There's lots of things might be wrong with the hopper, but it is still making progress. I still have half-decent control of it. The radiator's not in any peril. In fact, the temperature's not moved, so that's fun. Oh, across the bumps we go. Okay, we're not going. Well, I say we're not going to overheat. I'd be very surprised if we're going to overheat. It's steering or something else in the suspension. I don't know what could go more wrong with the suspension. I mean, we could probably lose the whole... Oh, it's very twisted now. Okay, we're really tripoding here. This is gonna make lining up for jumps impossible. This is just gonna fall over almost constantly. So we can only really have 3 wheels on the ground at one time. I'd prefer the rear wheels, ideally, if you give me a choice in the matter here. Okay, that was more damage, more of a clonk on the rear vehicle. Oh, God's sake, that tyre. It's going to be another heart attack. I thought, well, this wheel falling off. How has it done that there? But no, that's still just the spare one. Somebody should move that. Can we get a marshal on that? Can someone go grab the spare wheel out of the way? I don't want any more little heart attacks because I think I've lost a wheel or something. We're going to go and drive off there. We're okay. I mean, it's not really got... Well, I say it's not got too much worse. On the dirt, it's not too bad with the now lopsided chassis. I'm a little bit concerned when we get back on the tarmac what it's going to be like. It's still got a tripod. I mean, if we're lucky, we can crash it and bend it back down to where it should be. That's always ambitious. Oh, there we go. Back pointing the right way. Steering is quite poorly, to say the least. It does seem like the fact that it was tripoding has been minimised a little bit. For God's sake! Oh, that's bad time. Oh, just got away with that. That's so lucky. I have no control over it hitting jumps anymore. It goes where it pleases, pretty much. We're going to line up. We're going to try and carry speed. Oh, we're going to spin down there. It gives us a chance to look at how much damage there is at the front. I don't know how that wheel is clinging on for dear life, but it is for the moment. Does make driving it a smidge difficult. Oh, mind the trees. Some of the trees are drive-throughable, some of them are not, shall we say. So we don't really want to end up stuck out there if we can help it. Again, it's poorly, this vehicle, but it is still going. I say that as we go across the checkerboard. That is a place where we could potentially see a wheel come off. We've seen vehicles... I mean, it's normally the really high-powered cars that's difficult to drive. You have a half spin across that section, you'll definitely lose a wheel. This, it's so difficult to drive on having to steer in such wacky ways, it might actually give itself some grief, but for the moment, it's fine. Here we go. We're through the spinners another time, relatively well that time out. We'll bounce around the carousel. Yeah, I think it's bent itself back into shape a little bit, because they're actually much quicker down here than, well, not much, but we are quicker and a bit better down there than we were last time around. Oh dear, no, don't steer that way. Oh, you lucky car. As it got to the sort of top of the jump, it just veered. I was trying to set it up for the jump, it just veered off course. Thankfully, we didn't end up, and it kind of ended up landing quite smoothly on the hill, which was not how I expected. I thought it was going to come crashing down and either into the fence or roll and snap something. So yeah, that's quite a fortuitous thing. We still clonk the front. I think that front right wheel might have been pushed up again, but it's not too bad. Across this jump, don't go towards the fence. It's hitting quite squarely on the front subframe or whatever, but no real harm done. Oh, get back down. So this is the thing. Oh, this is the thing that you do get with the off-roaders. You get this with the rally cars as well. The rules with this is everything's got to be driven as fast as it can be driven, and well, when these take damage, they can actually still go quite quickly. Which is what we're finding with this. This is... Oh, that's a big tumble. That's the best it landed the jump because it wasn't careering towards the sign, but it then fell over. So it was also the worst it landed. Like, it was the best positioned, but worst landing. Oh, can we just take a jump? Can we ever take off from a jump in a straight line? The steering... For a second I thought the steering was getting better. It's not. It's still pulling matter. You can see on the little indicator down there, if I don't touch the steering, it's just, it will go through the shallow grave with barely any input from me. That radius of corner it could do, I think it's just the water that messes it up. Right, through the checkerboard though. It still marches on. Could we see something challenge the truck? I mean, this is the sort of vehicle you think might just be able to sneak it. You never really know though with these. And of course, curse the commentator. It might come into effect now, but I will choose to remain positive. I mean, at one point this was not stopping and careered into the spinners, and the fact that it's still going is a testament to it. Obviously the bonnet is just low enough. If the bonnet was any higher, that would have hit the engine and the radiator, and that would have been bye-bye car, but the bonnet's just, I guess, low enough that it only sort of peeled off the actual bonnet. Stop launching that way! That was the crash that I didn't want to have happen last time. Are we still good? Still got steering. That was a nasty one. Okay, so the good news is it might have actually made the steering better. A bit. Nope. Okay, I'll take it back. It probably depends on how the wheels were, like, resting or something. I thought for a second that it wasn't going to fix it, but it slightly twisted the steering back the right way, but it hasn't. Can we land? Oh, stop going that way. Bloody hell. There we go. Okay, we're going to bounce awkwardly. Oh, we're going to bounce awkwardly up towards the fence. Ah. The awkward bounce towards the fence has cost us a wheel. I was right to be worried about the fence. In fact, literally, I think what I said might happen has happened. There's also concerns about one of the rear wheels I've just seen, what angle that's at. Oh, has that wheel freed itself? Okay, it hasn't freed itself. We have now got big problems. We do still have a wheel that will steer, and we have more than enough power, more than enough speed to get it up to the 20 miles an hour. Damn it, if that wheel could be anywhere other than full lock that way, why does it just want to keep going that way? I have an idea. Will this work? This will make it a rear-wheel drive vehicle that might actually help me out here, because if that wheel is driven... Okay, I don't really steer very well anymore, but I've never had to do this before, and I've never really thought to do this before, but... Oh, it's rear-wheel drive, but of course the rear axle now moves around as well, let's not forget. But this is within the, you know... Oh, no! Oh. It's within fair, you know, we lock diffs on vehicles if they have locking diffs, if bits break, so it does make sense to do this, because basically with the front wheels driven, whenever it was a pointing angle I didn't want it to, it really fights against the vehicle. Whereas when it's not driven, I stand a little bit better chance. We're not going to survive the spinners, I don't think, but it gives it the best chance of going as far as possible. You know. Ooh! Okay, so that rear axle shifting is a bit sketchy. It's now made worse by the massive toe out that we have going on. Oh, come on, Hopper. Just keep going. Keep living. Maybe we can make it through the spinners. You never know. Oh! We won't. If it does that... Oh, come on. There we go. Right, we're up onto the checkerboard. Now, something hit on the speed bumps. I don't know what hit on the speed bumps at the start of the lap, so I was worried we were going to hit on the checkerboard. Come on. And maybe that wheel actually giving us that toe angle may help a little bit at the rear. Oh, it just immediately snaps and wants to, and is happy to go left. Ugh. Okay. This is it. Hopper, we're lining you up. Well, we're lining you up for the Toblerones. We're across. I fear we are just driving you to your death here, because it's been difficult to get you around the corners as it is. So, are we going to be able to get you through here? Oh! Maybe. No. No. Oh! I mean, we are technically through, but I don't think I have any steering left anymore. No, I mean, we're full left, and it is not going to make that corner. I knew that was where it was going to come undone. I knew that was going to be the bit that was difficult. It almost got out. I mean, the fact is it is still technically working, but... I mean, it's steering slash chassis damage almost. The chassis is now so buckled from that hit. It's nearly pulled the whole bodywork off the car. That's a great showing, though. That is a great run. The Hopper persevered. It really, really did persevere around here. However, in the end, we ran out of steering, and that is the end of that.
on to the leaderboard, and we have a new vehicle in the top 5. The Hopper will go into 5th place, just behind where the Crown Vic's engine expired. It's certainly not a bad run from that vehicle. It had a lot of suspension issues, but it kept on going for quite some time despite them. In the end, though, it did get a little bit too much. It actually survived a pretty massive hit from the spinners. It almost tore the entire body off the vehicle, but yeah, in the end, too much damage was done to the steering. The other 2 vehicles that ran today, I mean, they conked out practically side by side. Now, the distance indicator is not always perfectly accurate, which is why the Miramar Custom is ahead of the Evo despite that. It's not perfect. It measures wheel, it tracks distance based by wheel rotations, but some vehicles spin the wheels more, all that sort of thing. So it isn't perfect, especially when vehicles start getting damaged. But yeah, the Miramar and the Evo, I mean, they both died on the same jump. It was the steering that went on the Evo. The Miramar lost the drive. It's, yeah, not an uncommon place as such to have issues that shafted jump. Both of them had significant suspension damage going on as well by that point. But there we go. That is going to be it for this episode. As ever, I shall link all the mods used in the description so you can download them and have a go with them yourself. That, though, shall be it from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.